Hi everyone, welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. I'm Bethany, this is Sparky.
Welcome!
Oh my god, I know you missed him last week. Oh, hello! This is Billy. Isn't she adorable? Oh my goodness. Okay, this is episode number 110. And what do you think? Wait, what do you think? What do you think about the questions, huh? So if you guys would like to ask a question, please put it in the comments below. And please put the age and breed of your dog. You can also just go to Instagram and you could message us there, just direct message us, age, breed of dog, and we'll get to your question next week.
And anyone that wants a schedule, same place. Message us on Instagram, we'll send you guys a skeleton.
What are you talking about?
Schedules, structure
schedules. A puppy structure schedule for potty training and training in general.
That's what I said.
That's not what you said.
I said that word for word, verbatim.
Not what you said. Would you like to read a question?
Yeah. Okay. From Butterfly. They just have Butterfly. Stop loving Doug, you're distracted.
I love her.
Alright, I'm having the problem with my puppy sniffing and eating the grass and trying to eat random stuff in the grass. Does that ever stop? If you do something about it, it does stop. And what do I mean by that? You get some head control. You can redirect her. You can build more food focus. She's right on your mic. She's eating your microphone.
She has things to say.
Kimberly, we're done.
Actually, we are done because my pregnancy carpal tunnel is kicking in really hard.
Mine too, for the same
reason.
Yes, you can get the head off the ground. It doesn't happen automatically. It is about building more focus. It's about building more control and more value in yourself over the grass outside. Things that you can do is you can start working with the dog more inside, letting them eat a couple pieces of kibble on the ground. Right as they finish it, calling them to you, puppy come, good treat, rocking back, taking a few steps. It's more about teaching the puppy or the dog to look at something but still have more value in the recall in what you do when you call them. You can use leash control. You can do like a slip lead setup. You can do anything that gives you a bit of head control to move the dog away from the item or build more value in yourself to get them to want to come from the item.
Head control is ideal, but if you're dealing with like an 8-week-old, 9-week-old, 10-week-old, and you haven't done leash training yet and your puppy is still on a harness, make sure that when you do your potties, that your puppy is being put on a harness every time you go outside. Unless you want to do a little gated off area where you just plop her in one little area to pee. If you're doing a yard or having to go in front of an apartment, well, an apartment, of course, you'd have a leash, but in a yard, people think that they should just let their puppy off leash and do their business, and then they develop those bad habits that you're dealing with. So even if you are on harness, it's got to be on leash. Take food out with you, but be boring at first. So what I would suggest is, I'm thinking your puppy is really young, doesn't know anything, and maybe you haven't done a lot of food work yet. So if your puppy is in an area and then he gets really, really stuck on a smell, just kind of do some sideways leash pressure, and you're gonna have to pull your puppy. They don't understand the leash and they don't have that connection with you yet that he's talking about that takes time to build. And so for now, you are just going to pull your puppy away a little bit. Don't say no. Don't make a big deal if he eats a leaf. Like, let him eat the leaf. Truly, if you make a big deal about it, you're going to make it way worse. A rock or something is a little different, but try to really, that's where the leash comes in. Try to really keep your puppy away from those areas where they would pick up something dangerous. And that's all I got.
That's
all right. Yep, that's it. Do the long one. Let's see. The Bernegram says, 7-month-old mini Bernedoodle still likes to mouth my hands, gets really bitey and excited when playing. We do redirection with toys for a 7-month-old. Okay, so all right, I got the one thing I'm going to say. We do redirection with toys. We do say no. We've used the loud ouch. Is it fun when people scream randomly like that? Like you do all the time?
Welcome!
We keep a leash on her in the house and also use that if she doesn't stop. Just so you know, that's not uncommon. People think that at 7 months old, they should magically have a puppy that can be with the family. Ridiculous. It's an adolescent puppy. Totally understandable that
being
they're
with
still...
the family is a learned trait.
Yes.
It's developed, it's learned, it's something that most dogs don't just naturally have.
Being on leash in the house, Totally understandable. A friend told us they used to hold down their dog's tongue when he did it as a puppy, but I'm not sure if that's a good practice. Hold down the tongue?
I think when they do the tongue press.
I bet they mean the bottom. It's not a tongue press. It's a pinch of the
bottom,
skin. It's not
it's
a tongue.
the bottom of the palate, not the tongue.
But anyway.
We've seen that work on some of like the less pushy puppies.
But really pushy puppies,
they're gonna just bite harder.
Yeah. You'll know. Like if you try the under the tongue pinch, so you're basically just, there's like nothing there, right? It's just skin. And you just do a little pinch to where the dog has a gag reflex and kind of backs off. And you'll know real quick if that is the way to go with your puppy, because they will either bite harder or they'll be like, whoa, what's that? And then you can go right back to doing what you were doing. But anyway, what, did you want to say something?
Not a recommendation.
Oh, well, no, but just to explain it.
Yeah.
There's other ways. Okay. 7-month-old Bernedoodle, yes, should not be, biting you, targeting you. And so I've got a few tips for you. The first one would be, let's make sure we are using a ball with a rope on it or a large enough tug toy to get both of your hands on either side and really make it so obvious what you're wanting. And so what I mean by that is to be like, break! And you give the puppy the toy and you tug and maybe you let go of the end and you need to move. Otherwise, the puppy really gets into digging in and moving themselves if you don't act like prey, because that's what a toy is, people. It's practicing hunting. And move the toy around. Oh, sorry. And then when you want the puppy to drop it, then you can kind of hold your arms in, freeze, wait them out. Yes, this is often where they might try to eat their way up the toy and might, nip you to some degree. So you've got to be stealthy. Whenever they readjust their grip and they start to let go, that is usually when we're like, drop it, and we might block, sit. We might use food immediately. I might use food on their nose to get them to let go. Leverage, as long as food doesn't trump toy. So you have to play with that. Kibble, treats, maybe you can't use food because then they don't want to play anymore. You have to kind of play with that. But anyway, those are some ideas. Not to oversimplify it, but to send you down a rabbit hole or anything, but to just hop on Google and be like, teach, fetch, and drop it. But don't type in puppy. Just type in, teach my dog, fetch, and drop it.
Puppy is more silly training.
Yeah.
More affectionate.
Switch toys like and excitement, and it'll be like a 12-week-old. You got a 7-month-old. It's different. No redirection with toys. It's just no. Cut it out. No sit.
This was her body block, by the way.
Pause.
No. Bump.
Bump off.
Freeze.
Stand up. Sit. Pause. And then break, give it back to them. And if they happen to get my hand, there's a couple of things that I want you to try. I'm not saying that it's your fault that your puppy's biting you. We've seen puppies target hands, like specifically, even doing everything right.
It's soft and squishy.
Yeah,
it tastes better.
Even doing everything right, they will sometimes target hands. But just to make sure you're not accidentally feeding into it, let's make sure you're staying pretty calm. And what I mean by that is you're not like, yeah, and I'm not going to stand up, but if I'm here and my puppy is little and I'm bending over and I'm standing up, bending over, I'm probably holding the toy so high that they jump up a little bit to get it. So I need you to sit down like a pregnant lady and find a good height and play tug this way. That way it's more even with their spine. You're not amping them up and you're not going too fast and you're not doing an excited voice. If anything, you might just be like, good job, good boy, get it, yeah, good job, good. And then do your freeze, wait for her to get bored or him to get bored and let it go, and then sit immediately, and you might need to stand up for the sit. If you're throwing it, that's fine too, but don't throw it too far. The further you throw it, the more amped they get. Toss it a few feet. Build a relationship with fetch.
Did you mention leash?
Oh yeah, no I didn't. I'm done. Why don't you go into the leash?
Have a leash on them. So it gives
while
you
playing fetch. I know you already are in the house, but while playing.
I do it for tug. I do it for fetch. I do it anytime I need a little bit more leverage. So I throw the toy 2 feet, 3 feet. They kind of jump on top of it, pick it up, and they're chewing it. You tell them to come back and they don't want to. You can actually say come, walk back, and kind of increase that pressure as you're walking back. Even draw them in like a fish, reel them in. And when they get to you, get a hand on the toy, do the the elbow to the rib motion to really like anchor that toy. I even bring it to my sternum to really make it hold still. And then if they're still really fussing with it, I can even do a up and away pressure with the leash, almost like a counter tension.
Yeah.
And more than anything, I use that leash for when they finally let it go and I'm holding it and they want to jump up and take the toy from you. I'll block if I can, but sometimes they got a persistent puppy. I'll block, and when they land, I'll step on the leash.
Oh, yeah.
To prevent that jump.
Jumping.
And maybe they have like half a foot, so they can make it about half foot off the ground, feel that pressure, and kind of go back down, so there's more of an oomph to it. That's how I use the leash when I teach fetch and drop.
Just to layer onto that, I know this takes some finesse, which is why you gotta practice and maybe watch some videos. But once you do like hold the tug toy and you're waiting them out to drop it, and they start to inch your way to the hand, and let's say food won't work, let's say food trumps toys and they won't play anymore, so it's not helping. Then that's another time you go no, and you can block. But a lot of times blocking doesn't work with your own dog if you haven't taught it before previously. Yeah. They don't believe you.
You got to be almost like more intense with it to like set a standard.
Which a lot of people are uncomfortable with, and we understand that. So you're still going to be like, no, like don't bite me, no, and grab the leash and then do the pressure he was talking about. Sit, pause, take a breath, inhale, exhale, then break and toss it again, and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. This is also going to mentally drain your dog more too. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on. Which one did you read? Do you want to read another short one? I read the big one.
I'll take it.
Take a small one?
Yes, because there's another one that I want to answer.
I'll let you read today. I've been hogging.
Okay. From White Wolf. This is from our video of, can your puppy sleep with you if they're training to be your service dog?
Uh-oh.
His question was, is it bad mine sleeps with me since I get high anxiety during storms?
Oh.
It's not bad if they're already a service animal.
Right.
So let me clarify what that means. A puppy, and almost no puppies I've ever met under the age of 8 months to a year, can be a service animal because their impulse control isn't strong enough, their training, their real life existing work isn't good enough.
Brain is still developing and putting together all the pieces.
There's so much that goes into it.
Yeah.
So they're not actually service animals yet. They're still learning how to be one. And what I find is that when you're more permissive and soft with a young dog who you're training to be a service animal, you become a service human for the supposed service animal. Because
you're weakening their state of mind. You're weakening their ability to be confident, independent.
You're forcing them to rely on you instead of you being able to rely on them.
Right.
And in the beginning, no one's really relying on each other. It's more of a mutual, with the puppy relying on you a little bit more as you're teaching them.
Right.
But as they hit that 8 months to a year and they've learned their tasks, they've learned how to be a service, well, probably not their task yet, but they've learned the temperament of a service animal, then you can start teaching tasks. And it sounds like the task for your dog is DPT, deep pressure therapy, in a sleeping fashion, which means that the dog learns how to lay across your chest, provide comfort, help you regulate your heartbeat, and all of that, but you don't have that yet if your dog is too young. So is it bad? No, if that's the service. If the dog is too young and hasn't been taught the service nor the full obedience of a service animal, then it's not time yet.
If the puppy hasn't been given the tools to be able to handle the emotional need of the human, then it just doesn't, it's not fair, it doesn't work, and you can have a lot of problems out of that. Now, he's talking about the very technical term of service dog. I'm gonna dive just really briefly into the land of just, I went and got a shelter puppy and it's my ESA dog. People. Which I know you probably shouldn't say anything. You just need to stay over there and be quiet. Yes, you can be quiet. So for those of you that are kind of in that camp, this is what I'll say. If you've got a puppy that is 6 months and older, and they happen, which means they're in adolescence, okay? They're not in their toughest part of adolescence, but they are in adolescence, and they're just really calm and kind of a boring puppy, really easygoing. Nothing really bothers them. They're just kind of lazy. They're definitely not going to be a service dog, but not a legal one anyway. But it's, but anyway, it's just a really easy puppy, and you want to pull, that puppy and sleep with them, a few nights, and And then he can be on the floor some nights and in crate some nights, and the puppy just doesn't care because it's a really easy puppy. Then that advice doesn't apply to you. But a word of caution is just that if you are in a storm season, if you live in Florida or something, and it's like 2 weeks of storms, and then you want that puppy to then go and sleep in crate, it's not going to happen. And so if crate is something, or your puppy being alone, if that's something that you really need for your lifestyle, you have to take that into consideration and get a pregnancy pillow.
A what?
It'll help. Seriously. A pregnancy pillow, they wrap all the way around you, and you just like take your arms and legs and you just curl around it and you go to sleep.
I want one of these.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Chris is like my husband. He's like, I cannot wait till this thing is done and gone. I'm like, what makes you think it's going to be gone after the baby comes? It is so comfortable, but it's like it's a whole nother person in the bed.
I like that.
But seriously, something you could try. All right. Let's see. Oh, you did the butterfly one. You didn't even do the small ones. Okay. E-Love says, my Cavapoo, nearly 4 months old, he is against the crate. I like how you put that. That's funny. That is funny. I like that. He is against the crate and sleeps in bed with me. Is this a bad trait? Yes, it is. However,
that sounds permissive.
However,
new word.
However, if it's not a new word, I use it all the time.
My new word.
Oh my God. All right. So sorry. Yes, it is bad. However, we actually just had a talk about this about another dog. It's very challenging to try to crate train a puppy that is against the crate, and there's not a lot you can do. You don't have a ton of tools, to be able to settle that puppy down. And it's really tricky age too, because they're still a puppy. So it's like, it's a tricky age. So here's the thing. It can have a lot of bad side effects. It can create a lot of separation issues, anxiety issues, needy issues, dependence issues, lack of confidence. I could go down the list. However, if you're happy with your puppy's behavior right now, if you can go outside and the puppy is paying attention to you, isn't overly stimulated by their environment, or isn't nervous or barking, like you're not seeing a lot of behavioral issues, they're doing pretty good, then I'd say you might be okay. What I would do is I would at least try to start to teach your puppy to be on the floor. And this can come with some potty issues, which is a whole nother thing. But I would at least try to teach your puppy a really strong place command, and try to just make sure that during the day, they're not always on the couch. And then maybe even at night, they start to maybe sleep on the floor, but especially during the day, they're not on the couch all day with you, next to you, snuggling with you when you're home. Like, they can go be on the floor, be in place like a dog, and build their own confidence away from you. They don't have to be touching you or be next to you or be in control in some way in order to feel good. That would be my big thing.
There's got to be a balance.
Yeah.
If you're going to let them sleep next to the bed on the floor, then you trade off some of your cuddling time during the day, and you practice more place duration from a distance, maybe like 5 feet. Play, sit, down, stay, walk 5 feet away, sit on the couch, and you still have control over that leash from a distance.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to have a balance. You'll know you've lost your balance when you can no longer leave your house without your puppy crying and you being called back by your neighbors.
Yeah.
Your balance is gone, long, far gone.
That would be another thing, is make sure that you are prepping your puppy for that. So do you have a puppy-proof room that doesn't have any carpet in it, and that your puppy can hang out in, or maybe a playpen, that's strong enough for a Cavapoo that they can hang out in when you leave, and then you got to practice that, every day. I
have a client, and I just finished her training. She had a dog that she got from a rescue. The rescue had crate trained it. I didn't see an ounce of crate training this rescue did, because the dog was pretty miserable in the crate. She gave up on it after about a week, and then 6 months later it called me. This dog was really bad. It would tear apart, at one point ripped through one of her drywalls and came out the other side to get out of her bedroom, just realized I had 6 more walls to go through. Yeah. So I gave up on that. But I came in. Thank goodness, yeah. It did get sick from drywall too. So I came in, we did crate training. It took us about 3 months to crate train this dog. And it got better. It wasn't just horrible like it
Tolerant.
was in the beginning.
He didn't build like the puppy magically liking the crate. You build tolerance.
I more just built desensitization to the owner, so she didn't care as much about it.
Yeah.
And then after about 2 months, the dog finally, for the first time ever, slept for 2 hours in the crate, and it was like the crux had been met. Everything after that was amazing, but it can take a while.
Yeah,
It
can be a really challenging thing.
This was a really, really, really intense situation. Like,
Yeah.
out of 10, this dog was a 13 on crate anxiety, and I see that maybe 4 times a year.
But we see many clients give up if their puppy is at an 8 on, crate separation anxiety. They get over that 2-week hump and they're like, when is this going to get better? And we try our few normal things and there's no improvement. We're like, crap, this is actual separation anxiety.
Full blown, which is really intense.
So we know it's tough. But again, let's try to find some balance throughout other parts of the day to try to counteract that.
Can you reiterate your system for when they don't use a crate? You mentioned the room, all that kind of stuff.
Well, it becomes this checkoff list of trying things. There is no big deal. Just make sure you have a puppy-proof bathroom or puppy-proof room. No, they might shoot through the door. In my house, I have carpet, unfortunately, and so we really struggled with one of our dogs, Dusty, when we first moved in there with the carpet, and so we had to go back to crating, even though we had weaned off in our last place. So my point is, there's like a checkoff list of things you try. One is a really secure playpen. Another is, and they can even come with tops on them too. Another is a bathroom or a puppy-proof room. You check that off the list to see if you can go get the mail and come back. No barking, whining, clawing at the crate. Can you teach your puppy to go to place and watch you walk out of a room and back in a room? Can you go take a shower and your puppy is just napping on the floor, not snuggled up on the couch next to you and still asleep when you take a shower? Like, the floor is an important part of this. Yes. But anyway, those are just some of the things that I would just go through and see if it works. Play radio when you're leaving. Play a white noise machine if there's a loud window or anything in the room, or if you're home and walking around, put the white noise machine by that area, and then also have the radio or something playing in the background on top of that. And just let us know how it goes. So, okay. CGMG says, how do I...
You gotta say it.
CGMG, I did.
Syndrome.
It's brilliant.
I know, that's pretty clever, right?
I love how you can entertain yourself. Like, nobody even heard what you just did. All right. Are you done? Can you focus on the question now? All right. Anyway, sorry. How do I get my 12-week-old Goldendoodle to stop biting me? She has puzzles and tons of toys. Ooh. Okay, can I start?
I didn't even get the question. I was still laughing.
At yourself. Okay.
Read the question.
12-week-old Goldendoodle. How do I make it stop biting? How do I make it stop biting me? She has puzzles and tons of toys.
That's your problem.
No. I wanted to see it.
Oh.
Dang it. That's why I said, can I go first? Or I said, I want to go first or
You
something.
should have just gone first then. You'd have to
I
repeat
know.
it.
I'm aware. Okay. So anyway, we don't want to pick on you. We really don't. However,
there's a but.
However, just because of that last line, that last line tells me that you got a little ways to go in the understanding dog psychology department, training department, boundary department, all the things.
So she's now picking on you.
All the things. And so it makes it a little hard to know where to start. It is such a common misconception, though. I mean, it is definitely...
I did it when I first got my first dog.
You did not.
No, not Cheyenne. Right?
Oh, way back when. Okay. So the idea that... And I swear, I blame you for this, Instagram and TikTok.
I thought you were blaming her. I said, you literally said you're not going to berate her.
No. Like, Instagram and TikTok, all of your enrichment videos of, let your dog just rip the paper apart and they'll be calmer and take a nap. Let your dog have a puzzle toy so they're enriched. How about y'all get a training pouch and put food in it and go spend time working with your dog and building a relationship with your dog? How about that for enrichment? Okay, that was not directed towards you.
Just so you know, when the Southern drawl starts coming out with the y'alls, that means you in trouble.
That was not directed towards you, CG, MG. That was directed towards social media. Okay, so anyway, that's my soapbox. It's over. As we're on social media. That was my soapbox over there. So anyway, that is what you need to do though. So 12-week-old Bitey Goldendoodle, you got a breed that is literally bred to use their mouths all the time. To communicate, to explore. I mean, it's not quite herding dog territory, thank God, but it's still, you know, it's a retriever mix.
Poodles are herding.
Mixed,
oh, no,
no, they're
poodles
not.
Are hunting dogs.
They're just working dogs. Poodles are everything dogs with energy, and they'll do whatever. And so you basically mixed that with something that just wants to gnaw on your arm all day long. And so that's why one of the reasons that you're having trouble. You got energy mixed with gnawing on your arm. And so you just need more boundaries. I don't want to oversimplify it, but you got to get a leash on that puppy. You got to start being calmer around that puppy. Don't look at him and tell him how cute and adorable he is. Instead, get out your training pouch and start working on your basic obedience. At 12 weeks old, he should be waiting at the front and back door to go out for permission. He should be waiting for his food bowl, working for most of his food, and then when you do use a food bowl, waiting to come out of the crate door or playpen door, waiting for permission, not jumping up on you to demand attention unless you've prompted it. He shouldn't think that he can just come over and jump up on you. And so if those things aren't happening, then you've got a bit of a square one situation where it's like, I don't want to overwhelm you, but it's like start hand feeding your dog and just working on basic obedience and be calmer in general around your dog and do more downtime for your puppy. Puppies a lot of times are really just overstimulated because they're out with us too much. And so your puppy should really be napping 16, 18, even 20 hours a day for some puppies. And when they're out with us all the time, they're not getting that. And so they might need more downtime.
That nap was in the crate, by the way.
Yeah, crate or playpen.
Somewhere where they can't move away from it.
Yeah.
So they basically have to just get stuck and go to sleep.
Yeah, it's kind of like I hate to use the word forced, but it's like they're like, well, I can't go over here and check out the window. I can't check out mom. I just can't do anything. And then so they eventually nap.
What she's basically saying is you have a relationship issue, not a biting issue. As you build relationship, the good version, the version where your puppy looks to you as a leadership figure rather than like a playmate, a companion, that's when he stops biting as much. And he starts looking to you guys for everything.
Or at least we want to start there. You might have a hardcore biter.
They probably do.
We've seen some hardcore biters where even if you are firm and strict, they are still so bitey. But we still have to start in this camp, and then maybe you guys could come back to us, tell us if we're tell us if we're wrong, and if we're totally wrong, and you've been in classes and you're doing all the things. But I'll have to admit that comment about the puzzle toys and tons of toys being out, that just let me know that you haven't even scratched the surface of what a dog's capability is learning wise. And so I get excited for that because I'm like, you got a long journey ahead of you, and you just barely even scratched the surface of it.
You're also still at the pretty early stage of puppy training. I don't know if you guys have heard of our online school, but if you want to check that out, we have a really, really great section for...
Shameless plug.
This actually wasn't shameless.
Shameless.
This is actually where they needed it. Everything else is shameless. I'm okay. I am shameless. But when it comes down to it, you're at a good stage where our program would benefit you quite tremendously. It has all the different commands you'd be learning. It has different ways of playing with your dog, how to play with them, how to handle them, how to work with them, how to train them, how to do plays. Yeah. Everything she just mentioned is in it.
And you get to ask us questions and listen to us pick on you more. So.
Their favorite.
Let's see. Colleen says...
Okay, good.
I have marks all over my arms. I've been working on no bite. So far, it's working. Good deal.
I love it.
Good deal. It can take time. It can really take time.
It works.
At the end of the day, when I hear something like that, I'm just like, leash. Like that puppy is never not on a leash if they are out with me. That way I can help reinforce anything I'm trying to do, whether it's food, body blocking, whether it's positive, negative, like what reinforcement, whatever you're doing, the leash is really key. And if it's a really young puppy, leash on a harness is fine, or dragging around a really thin leash on flat collar. All right, guys, that's it for today. So thank you for joining us. Same time, same place next week.
Good smile.
Bye.